So there's a couple things I wanted just to pull out because you said some data that I think is interesting. So you said and correct me if I'm getting this wrong, but you said the average life cycle of a recruiter in the industry is 9 months. Does that mean that the average recruiter in the industry only has 9 months of recruiting experience or job experience?
No. So if someone starts on day one, they walk out of university and they go in as a grad in a recruitment company, the average period of time they will survive in the recruitment industry is
Mm.
9 months
Got it. Okay. So yeah,
before
it
they
is
drop out.
definitely a churn and burn type environment, especially when you go into these bigger companies. And I liked how you
Absolutely.
put it that, it's very hard to find the one man bands that have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years, mainly because they kind of have a core list of clients that they do work with. And so they typically don't need to kind of expand their reach into the masses as long as their core group of customers are kind of feeding them enough to make a business, assuming that they don't want to grow it to be, a much larger company. And
Completely.
so I like that as a differentiator because a lot of times when I have clients, because I'm in the recruiting space, they always ask you what's your differentiator. And it's very hard to differentiate one recruiting firm to another, except for the actual recruiter that's doing the work. Right. And so
Gotcha.
that's where if you go to these big firms, regardless of it's a staffing firm or an exec search firm, the person that sells you the business is typically not the person that's actually doing the actual work, right? They're punting that to a junior person that's got a year, maybe two, if that, in the industry. So I think it's an interesting kind of thing that you're almost adding a lot of firepower to these small solo 1-2 person recruiting firms to give them a little bit more reach if they so
Absolutely.
desire.
And it's funny you say about you're dealing with these inexperienced people who are actually filling the jobs. My standard go-to line when I talk to hiring companies is pitched by a manager, managed by a consultant, delivered by a graduate. Like that's the structure that you get in a big recruitment agency. And actually, but the catch-22 with a lot of these independents is what they then have to deal with by themselves is their social media,